Thanks for listening to the Good Enough Wellness Podcast. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Emily.
And we're passionate about holistic wellness that real people with real lives can achieve.
We see you out there striving for perfection, but we want you to know that good enough can be good enough.
Before we get started, everything we talk about in this show is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Always talk to your healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, lifestyle, medication, or supplements.
You're listening to episode number 34, the difference between willpower and discipline. In this episode, we are going to split very important hairs on the difference between willpower and discipline.
So Kayla, what have you been nerding out about this week?
So this week, in case you cannot tell by my voice, I ended up with a sinus infection that is royally kicking my butt. And this was on the heels of me announcing to our group chat that I was doing so good not getting sick after Christmas. And I am so I think I've really nailed it.
This sounds like your own doing then to me.
And immediately on the heels of that, I ended up with a sinus infection that has been royally kicking my butt.
You know what they say about karma?
Yeah,
she's not a nice lady.
Yeah, she's not a very nice lady. But the resiliency of the human body, like this week, I've had a lot of time to reflect on how the body can recover. And knowing that mine will recover. And I dug up an old journal of mine. Well, I didn't dig it up. I just happened to find it. And this journal is from 6 years ago, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And every other day, it seemed like my journal entry was, today I am sore and tired. And I have a stomach ache. And I have all this stuff going on, and I was like, I have not felt like that in a really long time.
Yeah.
And I'm and I'm older now, so it's you wouldn't think that things would improve as you get older, I guess. You would think, things just go downhill. But knowing that things have improved, because sometimes I forget. Sometimes I have some health issues now, and I'm I'm just always sick, whatever. And it's no, I've actually really improved in the past 6 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, just reflecting on the resiliency of the human body and having some appreciation for that and knowing that this sinus infection will not be forever, even though it feels like it today.
There you go.
What about you, Emily?
I'm nerding out about dragons and dinosaurs. Sorry.
Hey, I love dragons and dinosaurs too.
Yeah, we're going through it at our house also, and I don't know if it's combination of having some sick kids or we're in the dregs of winter here, but I'm just reading fun books, and I love that for me personally. But I'm reading continuations of series, and I'm reading these Jurassic World not spinoffs, but behind the scenes books and stuff, and I just really enjoy that genre in general. But I was thinking about it, how I'm I'm not really nerding out on anything. I'm actually, how cool are human imaginations? We were created to be able to one, that people could think of these worlds in their minds and then communicate them on paper. And then two, I'm taking this content in and I'm picturing this world that somebody else pictured in their head. And it's occupied hours of my, downtime, when I'm busy with my hands, but not with my brain, thinking of these worlds, of these characters, of this whole thing that's been created. And I'm this is really cool. Actually, our brains were made to be able to do these really intricate things. And I'm trying to think where I heard this. There was a study done. This feels like something that 1,000 Hours Outside I would have heard on here, but you know how some people, there's some pushback against fiction books because it's just entertainment, all this stuff, and I think 75 Hard really pushed for it has to be a learning book. It can't be a story. But people who read, children who read or are read to read fiction books, their level of empathy is
yes, I've seen this study.
Drastically increased. stolen focus, I think, is where we learned this.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's so cool. So like everything is input. Even when you feel like you're like not accomplishing anything, your brain is. Your brain is making connections and restoring itself, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, human consciousness and imagination is absolutely fascinating. Like, I love learning about the brain.
Mm-hmm.
There's a doctor. I don't think he's like a medical doctor. He's like a PhD, but he's like a brain researcher.
Okay.
His name is Dr. David Eagleman, and he did a PBS documentary that I got out from the library. Absolutely mind-blowing. And he has a book too.
Mm-hmm.
That was really, really good.
That sounds awesome. I love me a PBS documentary.
Yeah, it was really good.
When we were newly married, we had, this was in 2011, so there was even like less available at your fingertips, but we had no streaming services. We just had this like one TV that we paid way too much money for. And we watched the same PBS documentary like 3 nights in a row, and it was fascinating. I wish I could remember what it was about. I think it was like the Great Depression or something. Really cool.
Yeah.
Hey there, Goopers. Yeah, Goopers. You know, you guys who listen to the Good Enough Wellness podcast, that's your name now. Get used to it. Are you craving a healthier, more balanced life, but you're not sure where to start? Or maybe you've tried all the tips and tricks that seem impossible to keep up with because, well, you've got a real life. Sound familiar? Here's some good news. We've got something just for you. Our free Patreon community is all about holistic wellness that works for real people just like you. Whether you're juggling a busy schedule, navigating health challenges, or just curious about improving your digestion, sleep, or energy levels, we're here to help you thrive without the overwhelm. Inside, you'll find show notes, downloads, worksheets, and exclusive recordings to help you get started. Plus, it's not just about advice, it's about connection. You'll join a supportive group of people on the same journey, cheering each other on and sharing ideas that actually work. The best part? It's totally free to join. So why not take the first step today? Head over to patreon.com/goodenoughwellnesspodcast and join the community where wellness meets real life. Let's grow together. You've got this.
Okay, so today we're working with new equipment, and so if you hear some weird stuff, it's because Caleb left us alone by ourselves.
Abandoned us.
We were left our own devices. So let's all take a moment to appreciate that we have better sound, even with it being weird, than we did when my refrigerator was keeping you company.
Right.
And if you don't believe me, you should go back to the beginning episodes and listen to my refrigerator sing the song of its people to you.
And sometimes the sump pump.
And the sump
in the
pump,
basement.
depending on how rainy it is.
Yeah. I did my best to cut most of that out, but
not all of it.
Couldn't get it all.
Yep. And that's okay. But today we're going to talk about willpower versus discipline. And I think I'm going to listen to what you have to say and then see how I feel about it, because I actually have no opinions on this. I pulled up the schedule and I was reading off to Matt. I was just like, willpower and discipline sounds boring, but whatever.
I mean, it is boring.
It is boring. I don't like either one of those things.
Me neither.
So let's get into it, and I'm going to listen, and then I'm going to give you my 2 uneducated cents.
Sounds good. So we're going to start right off with just defining something. So like, what is willpower? What is discipline? So I guess I didn't really look them up. I probably should have. But when we think about willpower, I think most of us think about like pushing through.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know this seems impossible. You can do it.
Like strong-arming something.
Yeah, like you're weak if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You must not really want it. That kind of thinking. Whereas discipline is more of like, this is something that I choose to apply myself to because I see the benefit of doing this all the time, even when it is hard. So I think a great example of this is like willpower would be, I don't feel good, but I have to work out today because if I don't work out, I'm a bad person. It kind of comes from like a place of shame, and like a place of fear, rather than like discipline is like, I don't feel good today, but I can skip my workout because I'll just pick it back up tomorrow when I feel better. And that comes from more of a place of like abundance and security. So that's kind of at least what I think of when I think of the difference between willpower and discipline. And like, is one good and one bad? I don't think so, not necessarily, because sometimes we need willpower. Sometimes we do need to strong arm ourselves into doing something that we don't really want to do.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely times when you don't want to, I don't know, wipe your kid's butt. I don't know why
That
that
is a
popped into
weird-
my head, but it's like you have to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
This isn't enjoyable for anybody.
no,
Yeah.
you just have to do it.
You have to get up and go to work tomorrow.
Yes.
You just do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, there also are times when it's like you don't need to force yourself to, I don't know, eat a salad when you don't want to, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like discipline is like I choose to go for a walk every day. I choose to get sunlight every day. And I mean, it doesn't always have to be like the good crunchy things. It's like I choose to wash the dishes every day.
I choose to speak kindly to my children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't think one is necessarily good and one bad.
Right. I guess I kind of think of discipline as being like the boring things that you need to do every day.
Yeah, it's like the habit
It's
building
not-
stuff.
Right. It's more habits than it is like something extreme. Like,
Yeah. So it's like willpower, sometimes we need it, but I don't.
you shouldn't rely on it.
Yes.
It's a high energy expenditure.
Yes, exactly. And it's like if you're constantly using your willpower for a bunch of stuff that truly doesn't really matter,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to overexert that muscle
Right.
and it's not going to have the strength to do things that really do matter to you.
Good point.
So let's just talk about like when would you apply willpower and when would you apply discipline?
Sure. Yeah. So to me, like, I think we kind of just touched on this. Like, discipline is something that you're practicing day in and day out. It's boring. It's monotonous. Versus willpower is kind of that more like, I need power now.
One time push.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. So like times I would apply willpower is I don't want to get out of bed and go to work in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
That sometimes requires a lot of willpower for me.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't want to go to bed right now. I want to stay up late, but I know I'm going to be miserable in the morning if I do, so I
Right.
apply willpower then as well.
Yeah.
Whereas things that I apply discipline to are taking my supplements or eating a snack or working out even. I've tried to make that more of a discipline as well. It's like I'm working out because I want to be a stronger person, but not to the detriment of my health in other areas.
Right. Is it possible that sometimes you have to use willpower, so this kind of like burst of, expenditure to create that discipline though? Like,
Yeah,
especially
probably.
if you're like trying to train like baby habits, brand new habits, like working out, for instance, if that's something you want to be a discipline, if you're really not like a workout girly, you might have to use willpower to establish that discipline.
Right.
Which
Yeah,
I
agree.
guess is probably why, scientifically speaking, it's not wise to be trying to create multiple habits at once.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like requiring too much energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I lied. This isn't boring. This is actually really interesting.
I knew once we got into it, you would feel the vibes.
So then how do we take that and we utilize it for our benefit and make it into a tool instead of like a chain that's holding us down?
So I think we actually already kind of covered this. We utilize them by recognizing what we use when.
Mm-hmm.
And, if something is requiring willpower day in and day out and it's not turning into a discipline, maybe take some time to assess like why you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is this so difficult for you? How can you make it easier? Like, do you need a mindset shift? Do you need an actual like piece of equipment?
Lifestyle shift.
Yeah, a lifestyle shift. Are you trying to cram it into a part of your schedule that you really shouldn't be and you need to just move it all together like a day or a time? But I also like we should be using things like this as tools instead of change. This is something that Jess Massey teaches in her Hustle Sanely
Yeah, I like her.
curriculum. Is she's like, we use routines or schedules or our planner. We use them as tools and not chains.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that helps me get more done and not something that holds me hostage, you know? So I think just switching even our mindset around willpower and discipline to like, how can I use this as a tool to help me achieve something rather than a chain that's holding me hostage and like forcing me to do something I don't want to do.
Yeah, that's really good. I think I have a good analogy for this. So in the gym, there's what's known as PR, so it's like your personal record, and that's like, let's imagine like a deadlift, right? Like it is the most that you could possibly lift in your current physical condition, and you do one rep.
Yep.
And it's like the heaviest thing you can possibly
Yeah.
do. And that takes willpower.
Right.
You don't discipline yourself into like doing that over and over.
Yeah.
So it's like this high expenditure. It's like this one-time thing that you do one time in your workout.
The discipline is what gets you there, though.
Right.
The discipline of going in and training those deadlifts.
And it creates a higher threshold to be able to get your PR even higher.
Right.
But you're not going around in your day-to-day life PRing all over the place. It's your like, don't even.
Right.
It's your like, it's your lower baseline that you're actually rocking all day long.
Yeah.
Whether you're like moving crates at work or you're picking up your kids or something, it's not your PR reps. It's your lower baseline that your PR helps you pull up.
Yeah. If you talk to anyone who runs a marathon, they don't run a marathon length every time they train.
No.
They run much shorter lengths.
Right.
Because all of those over time build up the stamina that you need to do a marathon once.
Yeah.
You know, and then you train again with shorter lengths, and then you run a marathon once.
Yes.
Like, you don't really ever run the marathon length more than the marathon time.
Yes. Correct. Yeah. Right. And I guess going right off of like that whole analogy, it's like if they overtrain, if they're pulling willpower too often, like they're going to tank altogether, and then they're not going to be able to do anything.
Right. So like things that can sabotage willpower is overusing willpower. So if you're constantly, I mean, think about this with like decision fatigue. If you're constantly having to make a decision all day long, do I want the cupcake or do I want the carrot? Do I want the cupcake or do I want the carrot? And you're asking yourself this hour after hour after hour after hour. Eventually, you're going to get decision fatigue and you're going to be like, I can't make this decision. But also the willpower for not touching that cupcake is going to go out the window and you're going to eat the cupcake. Not that eating a cupcake is bad, but setting yourself up for success and making decisions ahead of time. So for some people, this looks like meal prep.
I'm a big fan of ahead of time decisions. Even just making a decision mentally.
Yes.
I will do this thing.
If this happens, I do this.
Yeah. It helps so much. I think
Yes.
we talked about this just recently when I was talking about, getting in 10,000 steps a day. It's like I have a plan for when we watch a movie, I will walk on my walking pad.
Right.
And it's already decided. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to like, I don't know if I feel like doing this tonight. It's like,
Like,
it
no.
doesn't really matter if I feel like it because this
When
is
I
what I'm
watch a
doing.
movie,
Yeah.
This is what I walk on my
It is
walking.
already decided.
Yeah. So it's like things like meal prepping can really help, or having a good program, or signing up for a class. Those kinds of things like help you make the decision ahead of time.
A lot of people, this like in an extreme point of view, it looks like having a uniform, but it
Yep.
could look more like a capsule wardrobe, or even the less fancy version of just get rid of the clothes you don't wear
Yeah.
and keep the ones you love.
Yep.
Big fan of this.
Yeah. I've been on, you've heard both of us talk about Madison Gray. So I've been on a big Madison Gray binge. And
We love you so much. And can we come visit you? Because where you live looks beautiful.
Yes.
Okay.
But she talks a lot about her 10-item wardrobe. And I was like, how can I apply that without actually having a 10-item wardrobe? Because I don't think I could do a 10-item
That
wardrobe
also
right
sounds
now.
stressful. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, how can I do this and also have all the clothes that I still want.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did is I split them up by seasons. And there's really no rhyme or reason to why I picked what clothes I wanted in what season. So I'm like, well, I'm going to need some sweatshirts in spring and sweatshirts in fall and sweatshirts in winter.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of split them evenly. And I did kind of go by like colors. I'm like, this seems more like a spring color or spring feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I put them in like big reusable like shopping bags.
Okay.
And so I like have spring clothes, summer clothes, fall clothes, and winter clothes. And I'm just going to
Amazing.
switch them out. So it's like I almost have like a 10-item wardrobe for each season.
Yeah.
And it's like some things are staples. Like I didn't pack away t-shirts and things like that because I just wear them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But that really helped me with my decision fatigue. And I was just thinking about this morning because I'm like, I was so tired of wearing the same clothes over and over again because I couldn't decide between the other things.
Right. Yes.
And so taking them away, like now I only have 2 other sweaters I can wear.
Right.
So I have to wear them.
Yeah.
Or I don't wear them,
Yeah.
And it's like the idea of it gives me a chance to get tired of them before the
Mhm.
season is over. And then I get like a whole new wardrobe that I didn't have to buy.
Yeah.
I just had that I wasn't wearing because I was just picking the same 2 things over and over again because I had decision fatigue about what to wear.
Right. Yes. That's a perfect example of it.
So I removed the willpower aspect. I didn't have to strong arm myself into wearing my own clothes.
No, I get this. As somebody who's like a big like texture
Comfort
yeah,
kind of person. Yeah.
yes, I do have to like sometimes be like, this will be slightly uncomfortable and you'll be okay.
Yeah, it'll look like you bought it because it looks cute, and it does look cute, but it's not the same pair of sweatpants that I've been wearing on repeat for the last 8 weeks.
Yes. Black leggings. Hello.
Yes, as I sit here in probably the same clothes that I've worn the past 6 Saturdays. But
I was thinking about this. Side quest. I was thinking about this. We're starting to do some video, which is super fun. I don't know what we're going to do with it yet or how much we're going to do with it. It's just going to look like we recorded everything in one day.
I know.
We wear the same things
Just about every week.
And like for us, it's been 7 days. So it's like, whatever. And it's probably our comfy clothes because we're kind
Right.
of snuggled up in the basement with the heat off. But like, I swear we own different things. We just don't want to wear them. And we
Yeah.
don't care enough to try.
I told Garrett last night, I was like, with doing video, because he was like, are you guys doing a video podcast tomorrow? And I was like, if I do, then I have the pressure of looking cute. And I don't want to look cute.
You don't have to look cute for me.
I don't. But that's the thing is like, if I met any of you in person,
This is what I will
this
look
is
like.
what I would
Yes.
look like. I wouldn't feel the pressure of looking cute.
We're going for like bridge troll chic. I don't know if that comes across.
Anyway, speaking of willpower and discipline, we should probably get back on track.
Probably.
So some other things that can sabotage both willpower and discipline is not having a plan. So like having a plan can really help hone in on what things you actually want to achieve and give you the tools to start achieving them rather than relying on the willpower every day to do them. Having a plan kind of puts that discipline in place of when this happens, then we do this.
Right. Yeah, because like we set out with the best of intentions, but like you will not hit 100% of whatever you're doing. So you need a contingency plan. Whether, sometimes that's like, oh, I will make up for this in this way, or the answer is it's actually not that serious.
Yeah,
I
I'll
will
just take a
just-
break.
I will just continue the next day or the next week, whatever that contingency plan is.
Another thing that can sabotage willpower and discipline is not knowing yourself.
Yeah.
So, like, if you know that you're somebody who needs external accountability, and you don't set that up, you've already sabotaged yourself. Like, you've already kind of given up and thrown in the towel because you know you need an external accountability source and you didn't go and get one.
Yeah, that's true too. I think probably like right in line with knowing yourself is knowing what season you're in. For example, just recently I had bought Adina Rubin's, what is her pajama party?
Pajama party,
Yeah, it's amazing. It looks fantastic. I started like that first day. And then we started getting so much snow that I was having to snowshoe a new path every single day. If you guys don't know, every single day I walk in the woods. It's about a 20 to 30 minute walk. And I have like the same basic loop I do in the winter because I have to have a trail because the snow gets so deep. And I realized that if I was going to be snowshoeing every day with all these layers and heavy snow boots, I realized, oh, this is actually not the time to be picking up a new program. And I'm not abandoning it. I'm saying this is not for right now.
You're using your willpower to snowshoe, not to learn a new skill.
Yeah, correct. Because some days I don't want to and I have to.
Yeah.
So I do.
Yeah. And I think that's wise. Like knowing what you have to use willpower for right now, and being aware of your season can help like keep you from burning out.
And that was it too. It was that protection of like, if I try to do all of these things, I will do none of these things.
Right.
I feel like that really wraps up all the things that I guess I didn't have any plans for what I wanted to say, but I feel like I got my 2 cents in. I don't know about you. Does that articulate everything that you feel like you wanted to convey?
Yeah. So I was just hoping to kind of like have this conversation and kind of like set some minds at ease. Cause I know some people are like, if I can just do it harder, I would get it done. And, I kind of want to release you from that. Like doing it harder does not make it better.
Yeah.
And you can give yourself a break. You can set up some plans and create a discipline habit and use your willpower for things that actually matter or things that require willpower. But this is your permission to not use your willpower for
always
all the things all the time.
Yeah, don't do that. You will burn out.
Right.
Are you going to be doing another burnout session?
I don't know. I might recycle it, but I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with it. I'm excited for my next one.
Okay.
But I might bring it back. Or here's something fun that you could do. You could reach out to me and have me come talk to your group.
That'd be fun.
So like if you have a small group or a mom's group or a homeschool group or a fitness group, like any kind of group, and you know that these people are interested in health and wellness, I am happy to come or even zoom in on the interwebs and present this presentation about burnout or anything else.
This would go hard at a MOPS group for sure. This would be perfect for something like that.
I would love to do that for you and your group, and it would be free. Like I wouldn't charge you for that, but that would be a good way to see my burnout presentation.
That would be cool.
Hey there, friends. Are you feeling stuck or overwhelmed on your health journey? Maybe you've got questions about digestion, supplements, or just how to take that next small step toward feeling better. Well, I've got something exciting just for you. Office Hours. Every Tuesday, I'm hosting 2 live video chat sessions where we can connect one-on-one. This is your chance to ask questions, get guidance, or simply chat about how to make progress on your health journey. Whether it's understanding your supplements, tackling digestion challenges, or figuring out how food and lifestyle can support you, I'm here to help. Now, here's the fun part. While the links to join Office Hours are available to everybody, my email subscribers get so much more. By joining my email list, you'll not only stay updated on Office Hours reminders, but also get access to exclusive tips, resources, and inspiration to help you feel your best. Head over to the show notes for this episode and sign up for my email list today. I can't wait to see you during Office Hours and help you take your next steps with confidence and clarity. Let's do this together.
So Kayla, what's good this week?
So this is pretty much just a continuation of what I've been nerding out about, and it's sleep. I've done a lot of sleeping this week because I just haven't had the energy to do much else. And sleep is part of what makes the human body so resilient, and it knows what it's doing when it tells you it needs to go to sleep.
This is the have you tried turning it off and back on again stage?
Yeah. Yep, and I've been doing that multiple times a day.
Good. I love to hear it.
What about you, Emily?
Washing machines.
Amen.
I freaking love washing machines. I am so thankful for my washing machine. We've had the stomach bug that's been going around, and I have 5 children.
Need she say more?
Washing machines, man, that thing is it's worth its weight in gold at this point. Like I have a regular appreciation for my washing machine. We have a lot of people in our house, and they're only getting bigger, which means their clothes are getting bigger. And it's not too bad in the winter, but in the summer, I mean, they are grimy every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. So like I'm doing a load, sometimes 2 every day in and day out. That's just to like keep my head above water.
Yeah.
But this week especially, oh man, God bless whoever invented the washing machine, because I would like to shake their hand and buy them a coffee. And
Yes.
I'm real thankful I'm not like out in the frozen creek like scrubbing. No, thank you. Thank you for listening to the Good Enough Wellness Podcast.
To learn more about my one-on-one packages, join my mailing list and follow me on Instagram at Kayla King Wellness.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Good Enough Wellness podcast feed wherever you listen to podcasts. You don't want to miss an episode.
Follow us on Instagram at Good Enough Wellness Podcast to learn about upcoming episodes and join our free Patreon to interact with the Good Enough community.
The Good Enough Wellness Podcast, because good enough can be good enough.
Well, that's good enough for me.
Me too.